should be aiming as a year 12 student, right? In every exam, you should be aiming for around, well, at least 75%, 80%. That YouTube, what it do? It's Wade Spencer, man. Alright, today I'm gonna be giving you guys 3 tips alongside with some advice to help you destroy year 12. Alright, let's get straight into it. Alright, so I've got my notes right here. So tip number one is simply you need to stay on top of studying. You know what I'm saying? Like, start studying from the start of year 12. Because what you have to realize is that A-levels are not the same as GCSE. A-levels are not the same as GCSE. They're much more complex, they're just harder in general. Like, they contain so much more content. And you need to make sure that you're staying on top of things if you want to do well in A-levels. You know what I'm saying? So tip number one is simply stay on top of studying, especially if you want to aim for 3 or 4 A stars. You know what I'm saying? Like, you should be aiming as a year 12 student, right? In every exam, you should be aiming for around, well, at least 75%, 80%. That region, that's what you should be aiming for at least if you want to be predicted an A star in that subject. You know what I'm saying? So let's say I'm doing biology, chemistry, physics and maths, right? 4 A levels. You should be aiming for at least 80% in all the exams that you do for each of those subjects if you want to be predicted 4 A stars. You know what I'm saying, G? So yeah, tip number one is simply stay on top of studying. Aim for at least 80% in every exam, and you should be good for when it comes to like being predicted 4 A stars. Alright? Because what we have to realize is that year 12 is probably the most important school year in terms of like the whole like educational system. Like what you do in year 12 will impact your future. You know what I'm saying? Like, it will literally impact your future. Like, if you mess up year 12, right, and you get like bad predictions, like you're predicted 4 D's or 4 C's, that then impacts the universities that you're able to apply to. You know what I'm saying? So for me personally, right, obviously in year 12 I was serious, and I managed to be predicted 3 A stars, which allowed me to be able to apply for Cambridge, because Cambridge requirements are A star, A star, A. So let's say, imagine if I messed up year 12, right? Let's say I did bad in year 12 and I was predicted like 3 C's. What uni can I apply to? I can't apply to any good, I've heard. Maybe you can. But I can't apply to like any really, really good unis like Cambridge, Imperial, UCL, any of that. I can't apply to those with 3 C's as my prediction. So tip number one is simply stay on top of studying. Aim for at least 80% in every exam that you do, so that your teachers can predict you the best grades possible. Alright. Tip number 2. You need to start your supercurricular activities for your personal statement as soon as possible. You need to start them as soon as possible, bro. As soon as possible. Because with year 12, right? In year 12, all you really have to do is learn AS content, right? And apart from that, you don't really have any other like commitment that you have to do. So year 12, especially the start of year 12, that's the best time to get over the supercurricular activity that you have to do, that you want to include in your personal statement. So supercurricular activity, this includes like reading articles, going to lectures held by universities, watching podcasts, reading academic journals, all of that. You need to be doing that in year 12, preferably near the start of year 12, so that you don't waste any time later doing those typical activities when you should be revising and studying for end of year exams. You know what I'm saying, G? The tip number 2 is simply get done your curricular activities as soon as possible in year 12. Because remember, in year 12, you used to have AS exams at the end of year 12, which I know that most schools use those exams to base their prediction off of. So you have to make sure that at the end of the year, you're revising and you're dedicating most of your time towards those end of year exams. So yeah, near the start of year 12, aim to complete all of your curricular activities that you want to include in your personal statement, and you should be good. You know what I'm saying? You should be good. Tip number 3. Tip number 3 is simply you need to start drafting and start preparing for your personal statement in the summer of year 12. So obviously throughout year 12 you've been like researching, you've been doing all of your curricular activities, but then in the summer of year 12, that's when I would advise you start writing your personal statement and you complete your first draft. You hand to your teacher in September. Especially if you're applying to Oxbridge. Because if you're applying to Oxbridge, right, the personal statement deadline is on the 15th of October. So that summer holiday between year 12 and year 13 is the most important in terms of the application process for Oxbridge. So you need to make sure that during that summer between year 12 and year 13, you're preparing and you're completing your personal statement. You know what I'm saying? Because when you come back in September of year 13, you don't really want to be spending that much time writing your personal statement, because then you're going to be learning A2 content as well. You know what I'm saying? To use that summer holiday to really write your personal statement, and you should be good. Alright? That was tip number 3. Tip number 3 was simply start your personal statement preparation in the summer holidays. Tip number 4, this is probably the last tip, right? I didn't write this down, but it just came to mind. Tip number 4 is simply you need to be careful of your friends, bro. You have to be careful with who you surround yourself with. You know what I'm saying? You gotta be careful with who you surround yourself with. Cause I can't lie, some people be trying to hold you back. They don't want to see you succeed. They don't want to see you do well. They see that you have potential inside you, but they don't really wanna help you reach that potential. You know what I'm saying? Like this happened to me, G. This happened to me in year 9. Like in year 9, I was surrounding myself with some people that weren't really looking for the best out of me. But yeah, like I'm just trying to say that in year 12, well, in general, just be careful with who you surround yourself with. Because some people might be trying to distract you, might be telling you, oh, let's go out to play football, let's go out to the cinema. But sometimes you just gotta tell them that, oh, you're grinding, you're trying to succeed in life. And if your friends don't really want you to, if your friends keep on bothering you, keep on telling you, oh, go out, let's go out, sometimes you have to have the balls to just tell them, hey bro, I can't lie to you, I'm trying to grind, bro, you're holding me back. You know what I'm saying, G? So yeah, but that was tip number 4. Tip number 4 was simply, it's not even a tip, it's just like advice, to be honest. Be careful with who you surround yourself with. Tip number 4 is simply be careful with who you surround yourself with, because they can hold you back. And obviously year 12 is a very crucial year in terms of your life, to be honest. So yeah, make sure you're careful with who your friends are. And yeah, those were my 4 tips. To conclude, tip number 1, stay on top of studying, because you want to be predicted 3 A stars, alright? Tip number 2, start your curricular activities as soon as possible. Preferably get them all done by March, if possible, alright? Tip number 3, start your personal statement prep in the summer holidays between year 12 and year 13. And then tip number 4, It's simply be careful with who you surround yourself with. Alright? Like I always say at the end of my videos, if you grind, you'll succeed. If you do nothing, you'll stay the same, G. Alright? Let's do it, man. Let's go.